Hello everyone. Okay, this is going to be the last video in our little build series here. Right now what I'm doing is benchmarking. Right now I'm testing my internet connection so that I can make sure our network adapter is working properly. And I am getting 82 megabits per second download speed. My upload speed is horrible though. I have uh, cable internet and the upload is about 3 most of the time. And so it'll just kind of run through here for just a second. I do enjoy that fast download speed though, watching the YouTube videos with no lag whatsoever and all that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is run a Prime 95 torture test on the CPU. Now this will make sure that I don't have any problems. This is the first time that I run through this test on this machine, and I always monitor my hardware with Hardware Manager. It's a downloadable program that monitors the temperatures and voltages and loads of every component in the computer. To start off with, I'll just do the blend torture test, and it'll put 100% load on all 8 cores. So there's the 8 cores. Right now the CPU temperature is at 40 and climbing. And the CPU would never receive this kind of a load under normal computing circumstances, even rendering a video. This is an artificial, loaded test. This is a torture test. Now, I do run these tests for longer than just this little bit I've sped up right here. This is just the initial test to make sure there's no obvious problems. I'll run this specific torture test right here for 24 hours later on, which I have now already done. And the extreme heat torture test I ran for 2 hours and never saw a temperature on the CPU above 69 degrees Celsius was the highest I saw. So that's pretty good for an AMD chip. So next up we're going to do a Nova benchmark. And it'll test lots of different hardware components, memory, graphics, processor, hard drives, things like that. And it doesn't take very long, so I'm just going to go ahead and let it run through at normal speed and let you guys see kind of the process here. Now I will mention that this is not like an extreme benchmarking program right here. This is kind of an easy benchmark for this computer, but it gives a true representation of what the hardware can do. Yeah, during that little 3D test, I think it got like over 1,000 frames per second or something. Okay, so I'll enlarge this little thing right here so we can see. So there's all of our scores right there. Now we're going to do the Firestrike graphics test. Now I only let just a little bit of the beginning of this demo run in case you guys have never seen it before. It's kind of neat, and if you have seen it before, then you'll notice, how smoothly it's running right now. There's no stuttering whatsoever or anything like that. It's just butter smooth. So here's the Firestrike combined test. This one hits the system pretty hard. The frames per second's like 11 and 12. This one pushes the system pretty hard. So here's a graphics test. This one we're doing pretty good at. If you can't see the numbers at the bottom, the frames per second runs between about 31 and, well, it's at 40 now. Between usually 30 and 34. I mean, you can tell just by looking at it, it's rendering in all the effects and details really well. It just looks smooth. And here's just another part of the Fire Strike benchmark. It's running about 37 frames per second right now. Now it's down to 29. I'm calling out the frames per second numbers every once in a while because it's hard for me to see, so I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There it went down to about 22. Now it's up 27, 25, 30. Basically anything over 30 frames per second is at least as good as a game console, like an Xbox or PlayStation. Things like that usually run about 30 frames per second. So Blu-rays run usually about 30 frames per second. And even to me, a lot of people, have a problem with 30 frames per second. They like to always have 60. But to me, even 25 frames per second plays pretty smooth. So here's our results. You'll notice that our GPU temperature never got above 50 degrees Celsius. So that card runs cool. And let me also say that this graphics card was running completely stock speeds, no overclock whatsoever. And we scored better than 47% of all PCs on that test. So here's a boot test. Let's count and see how long it takes. Starting now. And it's going to come fast. It's the fastest booting computer I've ever seen. Here we go. Are you ready? And stop. 15 seconds. 15 seconds from BIOS to using. So I thank you guys for coming along with me on this ride. This computer turned out just awesome. And hopefully we'll be able to do it again pretty soon.